Questions. Good morning, everyone. Let me begin with a simple question. Why is it that some women shine calmly in chaos, while others break even when life is comfortable? Same education, same city, questions, same opportunities, but very different outcomes. The difference is not luck. The difference is not beauty. The difference is not money. The difference is what they depend on. Questions. Because you see, weak dependence creates weak confidence. Strong dependence creates silent power. Today, I want to talk about something deeply important. Smart women don't depend on many things. Questions. They depend on 5. And if you understand these 5, your life will not become perfect, but it will become peaceful, powerful, and purposeful. Thing I want 3 smart women depend on their mindset. Questions. Not mood. Let me tell you something very honest. Your mood changes like the weather, but your mindset is like the climate. Mood says, I feel like giving up today. Mindset says, questions. Even if I feel low, I will show up. Smart women don't ask, do I feel motivated today? They ask questions. What is required of me today? Because motivation is a guest. Discipline is a family member. Life will test you. Questions. When appreciation disappears, when efforts go unnoticed, when plans fail silently, and on those days, mindset saves you. A smart woman trains her mind to say, I am not controlled by emotions. Questions. I am guided by values. Thing I too to smart women depend on their character, not validation. We live in a dangerous era. An era where questions. Likes define self-worth, comments define confidence, attention defines identity. But let me remind you, attention is not respect. Noise is not value. Smart women don't ask questions, do they approve of me? They ask, who am I proud of myself? Because character is who you are when nobody is clapping. And trust me, the loudest applause fades. Questions, but inner integrity echoes forever. A smart woman knows, I would rather be misunderstood than lose myself. Think often 3T smart women depend on self-growth, not comfort. Comfort is addictive. Questions. Comfort whispers, stay where you are. Don't change, don't risk. But growth demands discomfort. Smart women choose questions. Learning over laziness, progress over perfection, growth over approval. They invest in questions. Reading when others are scrolling, improving when others are complaining, healing when others are blaming. They understand one truth. If you don't grow intentionally, questions. Life will shrink you accidentally. A smart woman becomes better, not to prove others wrong, but to honor her own potential. Let me say this gently. Being emotional is human. Questions. Being controlled by emotions is dangerous. Smart women pause before reacting, reflect before responding, choose peace over winning arguments. They know questions. Not every battle deserves my energy. They master the art of questions. Saying no without guilt, walking away without drama, loving without losing themselves. Because emotional intelligence is silent power. Anyone can shout. Anyone can react. Questions. But it takes wisdom to remain calm when provoked. Think if smart women depend on purpose, not people. This one is very important. People change, feelings change, situations change. Questions, but purpose anchors you. Smart women don't build their identity on relationships alone, roles alone, titles alone. They ask questions. Why am I here? What impact do I want to leave? Because when life shakes you, purpose stabilizes you. A woman with purpose doesn't beg for direction. She walks with clarity. Questions. Powerful closing. Last 2 minutes. Let me summarize this beautifully. Smart women depend on mindset, not mood, character, not validation, growth, not comfort, emotional intelligence. Questions. Not reaction, purpose, not people. And when a woman depends on these 5, she doesn't chase respect. She commands it. She doesn't fear loneliness. She values solitude. She doesn't compete. Questions. She evolves. So remember this, the strongest women are not loud, they are aligned. And when alignment happens, life listens. Thank you, stay wise, stay grounded, stay unstoppable. Questions. Let me begin with something we all experience. almost every single day. You wake up in the morning, the alarm rings, and before your feet even touch the floor, questions. Your mind has already started negotiating. Just 5 more minutes. I'm too tired today. I'll start tomorrow. This is not laziness. This is mood. Mood is emotional, temporary questions, and heavily influenced by sleep, stress, weather, and even one small negative message on your phone. If your life depends on mood, your progress will always be inconsistent. Motivation feels powerful, questions, but it is unreliable. One day you feel unstoppable, full of energy, ready to conquer the world. The next day, the same tasks feel heavy, boring, and exhausting. Questions. Smart women understand this very early in life. They don't wait to feel motivated. They train their mind to act even when motivation is absent. Questions. Because motivation is like a guest who comes when they want and leaves without informing you. Mindset, on the other hand, is like the foundation of a house. You don't see it every day, questions, but everything stands on it. Think about a working woman who comes home after a long, tiring day. The body is exhausted, the mind is overloaded, and comfort is calling. Mood says, rest today, questions, you deserve it. But mindset quietly asks, what kind of future am I building with today's choices? So instead of scrolling endlessly, she spends 30 minutes learning a new skill, reading questions, or planning. No drama, no excitement, just consistency. This is how silent success is built, not with big emotional highs, but with small disciplined decisions. In daily life, questions. Mindset shows up when things don't go your way. When a project fails, mood says, I am not good enough. Mindset says, this didn't work. Questions. But I am still learning. When someone criticizes you, mood feels hurt and defensive. Mindset listens, filters, and improves without self-destruction. Questions. Smart women don't let one bad comment ruin their entire day, because they know their worth is not decided by one moment or one opinion. Let me give you another example. Questions. Imagine a woman trying to improve her health. Motivation makes her excited on day one. She buys new clothes, new shoes, downloads apps, and tells everyone, from tomorrow, questions, I'm changing my life. For a few days, she follows everything perfectly. Then one busy day comes. She misses her routine. Mood says, it's already ruined. Questions. So what's the point? Mindset says, one missed day does not cancel my identity. So she resumes the next day without guilt or drama. That mindset creates long-term results. Questions. Motivation starts the journey, mindset finishes it. Smart women also understand that mindset is not about being positive all the time. It's about being honest and responsible. Questions. There will be days when you feel low, insecure, or confused. Mindset does not deny these emotions. It simply refuses to be controlled by them. A strong mindset says, questions, I can feel low and still do what is necessary. That is real strength, not pretending everything is fine, but showing up anyway. In relationships too, mindset plays a huge role. Questions, mood reacts instantly, anger, tears, silence, or blame. Mindset pauses. It asks questions. Is this worth my peace? What response will I be proud of tomorrow? Smart women don't give temporary emotions permanent control over their behavior. Questions. They choose responses that align with their values, not reactions driven by impulse. Mindset is built through repetition. Every time you choose discipline over excuses, it grows stronger. Questions. Every time you keep your word to yourself, it becomes more stable. Every time you get up after failure, it becomes wiser. And slowly life starts to feel less chaotic, not because problems disappear, questions, but because you are no longer shaken by every emotional wave. The truth is, life will never ask you, are you motivated today? Life will ask, are you ready? And readiness comes from mindset. Questions. Smart women don't depend on how they feel in the moment. They depend on who they have trained themselves to be over time. So remember, this motivation is a spark. Questions. But mindset is the fire that keeps burning even when the wind is strong. When you build a powerful mindset, you don't need to wait for perfect conditions. You create progress in imperfect moments. Questions. And that is why mindset matters more than motivation. Every single day. Questions. Let us be very honest with ourselves. From the moment we wake up, we are surrounded by invisible judges. A notification pops up. A message is seen but not replied to. Questions. A post gets fewer likes than expected. And suddenly something inside us feels smaller. This is how subtly validation enters our daily life. It doesn't shout, it whispers. Questions. It convinces us that our worth is connected to how many people notice us, praise us, or approve of us. Smart women slowly realize that this dependence is exhausting and dangerous. Questions. Validation feels good, no doubt. Appreciation feels warm, compliments feel encouraging, and recognition feels rewarding. But the problem begins when appreciation becomes a necessity instead of a bonus. Questions. When your confidence rises and falls based on others' reactions, you are handing over the remote control of your life to people who may not even understand you. Character, on the other hand, questions, gives you internal stability. It allows you to stand firm even when nobody is clapping. Think about daily work life. A woman puts her heart into a task, stays late, solves problems, questions, and delivers quality work. But her effort goes unnoticed. Mood says, why should I even try? Validation says, if no one appreciates me, my effort is useless. Character says, questions, I did the right thing because it reflects who I am. Smart women choose character. They work with integrity not because someone is watching, but because their self-respect is watching. Questions. In family life too, this truth becomes very clear. Often women are expected to adjust, to give, to remain silent, and when they do, it is taken for granted. Validation disappears quickly. Questions. But expectations remain. A woman driven by validation feels bitter and unseen. A woman guided by character continues to act with dignity but also learns to set boundaries. Questions. She doesn't shout for appreciation, yet she doesn't abandon her values to please everyone. She understands that being good does not mean being weak. Questions. Social media has made validation louder and faster. A single post can make you feel confident or insecure within minutes. Smart women are mindful here. They enjoy appreciation. Questions. But they don't depend on it. They don't change their personality, values, or dreams just to fit into trends. Character gives them the courage to be authentic even when it's not popular. Questions. They would rather be real than be admired for something they are not. Consider a simple daily situation. Someone misunderstands you and speaks negatively about you. Questions. Validation pushes you to explain yourself to everyone, to prove your innocence, to control a narrative. Character whispers. People who know me don't need an explanation. Questions. People who don't know me won't understand anyway. This doesn't mean silence is weakness. It means choosing peace over unnecessary justification. Questions. Smart women don't waste energy on constant self-defense. They let their consistency speak over time. Character also shows up when nobody is around. How you behave when you don't get credit. Questions. How you treat people who can do nothing for you. How you speak when no one is listening. These moments define real strength. Validation-focused living is performance-based. Questions. Character-based living is principle-based. One seeks applause, the other seeks alignment. In relationships, depending on validation can make a woman shrink herself. Questions. She may tolerate disrespect just to feel chosen. She may silence her voice to avoid conflict. But character reminds her of her worth. It tells her, questions. Love should not cost your self-respect. Smart women would rather be alone with dignity than together with disrespect. They don't beg for attention. They expect mutual respect. Questions. Let me share something deeply important. Character is slow to build, but impossible to fake long term. Validation can be gained quickly and lost instantly. One mistake, one rumor, questions. One change in trend, and approval disappears. Character remains. It gives you the strength to sleep peacefully at night knowing you did your best, even if the world didn't notice. Questions. Smart women understand that not everyone will like them, and that is perfectly fine. They are not here to be universally approved. They are here to live truthfully. When you depend on character, questions, criticism becomes feedback, not a personal attack. Praise becomes encouragement, not addiction. You stay balanced. So remember this: validation is noise from outside, character is clarity from within. Questions. When you choose character, you choose freedom. The freedom to live without constantly proving your worth. And that quiet confidence is what truly inspires others, even if they never say it out loud. Questions. Comfort is very polite. It never forces itself on you. It gently invites you to stay exactly where you are. It says, questions. You've done enough today. You deserve rest, but there is no hurry. And slowly, without you realizing it, days turn into months, and months turn into years. Questions. Smart women learn to recognize this voice early. They understand that comfort feels safe, but it also quietly limits potential. In daily life, comfort often looks harmless. Questions. Staying in a familiar job even when you feel unfulfilled. Avoiding difficult conversations to keep peace. Choosing routine over challenge because it feels predictable. Questions. None of these choices are wrong in isolation. Questions. The problem begins when comfort becomes a habit and growth becomes an excuse postponed for someday. Smart women know that someday is not a date on the calendar. Questions. Growth always demands something uncomfortable. It asks you to learn when you feel tired, to try when you fear failure, and to begin when you feel unready. Questions. A woman who chooses growth understands that discomfort is not a sign that something is wrong. It is a sign that something is changing. She doesn't romanticize struggle. Questions. But she doesn't run from it either. Think about learning a new skill. In the beginning, everything feels awkward. You feel slow, confused, and sometimes embarrassed. Comfort tells you, questions, you are not good at this. Go back to what you know. Growth replies, you are not good at this yet. That single word, yet, changes everything. Questions. Smart women build their lives around that word. They allow themselves to be beginners. They allow mistakes to be teachers, not judges. Even emotionally, growth can feel uncomfortable. Questions. Healing requires facing patterns you would rather ignore. It requires accountability instead of blame. It requires letting go of old versions of yourself that once felt familiar. Comfort says, questions. This is who you are, don't question it. But growth asks, is this who you want to become? Smart women are brave enough to ask that question honestly. In relationships, questions. Choosing growth can feel especially difficult. Sometimes growth means outgrowing certain connections. Sometimes it means setting boundaries where you once stayed silent. Comfort prefers familiarity. Questions, even if it hurts. Growth prefers honesty, even if it feels lonely at first. A smart woman chooses long-term peace over short-term approval. Questions. Daily discipline is another form of choosing growth over comfort. Waking up earlier to invest in yourself. Saying no to distractions that steal your time. Doing the work when nobody is watching. Questions. These actions don't look dramatic, and they don't always feel rewarding in the moment. But over time, they compound into confidence. Questions. Smart women trust this process even when results are not immediately visible. Comfort avoids risk, growth accepts uncertainty. Comfort wants guarantees. Questions. Growth understands that clarity often comes after action, not before. Many women wait to feel ready before they begin. Smart women begin, and readiness follows. Questions. They understand that confidence is built through experience, not waiting. Let us talk about fear. Growth does not mean fear disappears. It means fear is no longer in control. Question. Smart women feel fear and still take the step. They don't ask, what if I fail? They ask, what if I never try? Comfort protects ego. Growth protects potential. Questions. Growth also teaches humility. When you stretch yourself, you realize how much there is still to learn. This keeps arrogance away and curiosity alive. Smart women stay students of life. They read questions, reflect, observe, and evolve. They don't compare their beginning to someone else's middle. They focus on progress, not perfection. The truth is, comfort gives you ease today. Questions. But growth gives you strength tomorrow. Comfort keeps you calm temporarily. Growth builds resilience permanently. Smart women are willing to feel uncomfortable now, so they don't feel regret later. Questions. One day you look back and realize that the moments you grew the most were not the easy ones. They were the moments when you chose courage over convenience, effort over excuses, questions, and growth over comfort. And that is when you understand growth was never the enemy of peace, it was the path to it. Smart women don't chase comfort. Questions. They chase becoming better than they were yesterday. And in that journey, they discover a deeper, more meaningful kind of fulfillment, one that comfort could never offer. Questions. Every day, life gives us small tests, a sharp comment from a colleague, a misunderstanding with a loved one, a message that is read but not replied to. None of these situations are extraordinary. Questions. Yet they have the power to disturb our peace instantly. The difference between being powerful and being powerless in these moments is not emotion. It is emotional intelligence. Questions. Smart women understand that emotions are natural, but reactions are choices. An emotional reaction is immediate. It rises from hurt, anger, ego, or fear. It wants to respond fast, loud, questions, and dramatically. Emotional intelligence, however, creates a pause. In that pause lies wisdom. Smart women use that pause to ask themselves questions. What is the best response here? Not how do I release what I'm feeling right now. This simple shift saves relationships, careers, and inner peace. In daily life, questions. Emotional intelligence shows up in the smallest situations. Imagine someone speaks to you rudely on a stressful day. Reaction wants to return the same tone, to prove a point, to win the moment. Questions. Emotional intelligence recognizes that the other person may be fighting a battle you know nothing about. Instead of escalating the situation, a calm response or silence diffuses it. Questions. Smart women don't need to win every argument, they protect their energy. In professional spaces, emotional intelligence becomes a superpower. Criticism is unavoidable. Questions. Reaction hears criticism as an attack on self-worth. Emotional intelligence separates self from situation. It listens, filters, and learns without self-destruction. Questions. Smart women don't collapse under feedback, nor do they become defensive. They extract value and move forward stronger. That is why they grow steadily while others remain stuck in emotional cycles. Questions. At home, emotional intelligence transforms relationships. Family and close relationships trigger emotions more than any other area of life. Old patterns, expectations, questions, and unspoken feelings rise easily. Reaction leads to shouting, silence, or guilt. Emotional intelligence leads to understanding, boundaries, and respectful communication. Questions. Smart women express feelings without aggression and set limits without cruelty. They don't suppress emotions, they manage them wisely. Questions. One of the most powerful signs of emotional intelligence is the ability to walk away from unnecessary conflict. Not every comment deserves a reply. Not every misunderstanding needs clarification. Questions. Reaction wants closure immediately. Emotional intelligence trusts time and consistency. Smart women know that peace is more valuable than proving who is right. Another daily example is disappointment. Questions. When plans fail or people don't meet expectations, reaction sinks into resentment or self-pity. Emotional intelligence accepts reality without bitterness. Questions. It allows sadness without letting it become identity. Smart women feel deeply but don't drown in feelings. They process emotions and then act from clarity. Questions. Emotional intelligence also means understanding your own triggers. Smart women take responsibility for their emotional patterns. They don't say, "You made me angry." They say, "Questions. This situation triggered something in me and I need to handle it." This self-awareness prevents blame and empowers growth. When you understand yourself, questions, others lose the power to control your reactions. Silence, when chosen consciously, is also emotional intelligence. It is not avoidance, it is awareness. Questions. Smart women know when speaking will heal and when silence will protect. They don't use silence as punishment, but as space for reflection. In a world obsessed with instant responses, questions, their calm stands out. Let us talk about forgiveness. Reaction holds grudges as a form of self-protection. Questions. Emotional intelligence understands that holding on to resentment harms the holder more than anyone else. Forgiveness is not about excusing behavior. It is about freeing yourself from emotional weight. Questions. Smart women forgive not because others deserve it, but because they deserve peace. Emotional intelligence teaches patience with others and with oneself. Growth is not linear. Questions. Healing is not immediate. Reaction demands instant change. Emotional intelligence allows gradual improvement. Smart women are gentle with themselves during setbacks and disciplined during progress. Questions. The truth is, emotional intelligence is silent strength. It does not seek attention. It does not announce itself. But it creates a life of balance, respect, and inner stability. Questions. When a woman masters her emotions instead of being mastered by them, she becomes unshakable. Smart women don't deny emotions. They understand them. They don't react impulsively. Questions. They respond consciously. And that ability to choose response over reaction is what gives them grace under pressure and power in everyday life. Questions. Human beings are naturally connected to people. We care, we attach, we expect, and we invest emotions. There is nothing wrong with that. Relationships give life warmth and meaning. Questions. But smart women slowly learn a powerful truth: people can walk with you, but they cannot be the direction of your life. When your sense of meaning depends entirely on others, questions, your stability becomes fragile. In daily life, this often shows up quietly. A woman adjusts her dreams because someone doesn't believe in them. She postpones her growth to keep someone comfortable. Questions. She stays in situations that drain her energy because she fears disappointing others. At first, it feels like love or loyalty. Over time, it turns into loss of self. Purpose prevents this. Questions. Purpose requires why you exist beyond roles, expectations, and relationships. People change. This is not cruelty, it is reality. Priorities shift, circumstances evolve, emotions fluctuate. Questions. Someone who supports you today may misunderstand you tomorrow. Someone who promises forever may leave without explanation. If your identity is built on people, their change will break you. Questions. Smart women anchor themselves in purpose because purpose remains steady even when people move in and out of life. Purpose does not always mean a grand mission. Often, it is a quiet inner clarity. Questions. It is knowing what kind of person you want to be, what values you stand for, and what kind of impact you want to make, even in small ways. A woman with purpose does not wake up asking questions. Who needs me today? She also asks, what am I meant to contribute today? That shift changes everything. In relationships, purpose creates balance. Smart women love deeply. Questions. But they don't disappear into love. They support others without abandoning their own path. They don't expect people to complete them. They expect alignment, respect, and shared growth. Questions. When relationships end or change, it hurts, but it doesn't destroy them. Purpose becomes the ground they stand on while healing. In professional life, purpose gives resilience. Questions. There will be rejection, delays, and unfair treatment. When approval from bosses or colleagues becomes the main source of motivation, burnout follows quickly. Questions. Purpose gives meaning to effort even when recognition is absent. Smart women work with sincerity because their work aligns with something bigger than praise. Questions. They don't quit themselves just because someone else doubted them. Purpose also helps in decision making. Life constantly presents choices, some easy, some confusing. Questions. People will give opinions based on their fears, comfort, or convenience. Purpose acts as an inner compass. Smart women ask, does this choice align with who I am becoming? Not everyone will agree. Questions. But clarity is more important than consensus. There are moments of loneliness on a purposeful path. When you grow, you outgrow. When you evolve, some connections naturally fall away. Questions. Comforting as company may be, purpose sometimes asks for solitude. Smart women are not afraid of being alone because they are not empty inside. Questions. They use solitude to reconnect with themselves instead of seeking constant distraction. Purpose also protects from unhealthy attachment. When your happiness depends entirely on one person, questions, fear takes over. Fear of loss, fear of abandonment, fear of disapproval. Purpose distributes emotional weight. It reminds you that your life is bigger than one relationship or one role. Questions. Smart women love freely because they are not desperate for validation. In daily struggles, purpose provides strength. On difficult mornings, when energy is low and challenges feel heavy. Questions. Purpose gives a reason to keep going. It whispers, this matters. Even small purposeful actions, helping someone, learning something, questions, creating value, bring fulfillment that people's approval never can. Purpose does not make you emotionless. It makes you anchored. You still feel pain when people leave. Questions. Disappointment when expectations break, and sadness when things don't work out. But you don't lose direction. You don't abandon yourself. You grieve, you heal, and you continue. Questions. Smart women understand this deeply. People add beauty to life, but purpose gives life meaning. When you live with purpose, you stop chasing people to feel whole. Questions. You start attracting those who respect your journey. And even when no one is walking beside you, you know where you are going. That quiet certainty is strength.